time, baby. Hey!
Two of the most important parts of having a guitar that both sounds and plays amazing are having a fresh set of strings and a proper setup. How often your strings need to be changed depends on their environment and how much they're played. We recommend changing strings at least once or twice a month. Knowing the right steps to take makes changing strings on a Floyd Rose a lot easier. With the right tools and knowledge, one only needs a little time and patience to set up their own guitar. Especially on guitars with floating tremolos, using the same gauge of strings as what's already on there will save you the extra work that comes from switching gauges. Before you begin, you'll need wire cutters. For truss rod and spring access, as well as to adjust your pickup height, a Phillips head screwdriver is needed. You'll also need a larger size bit for adjusting the spring tension. From your user kit, you need the polishing cloth, the 3mm and 2.5mm Allen wrenches, and a truss rod wrench. To help with measuring adjustments, a business card and Allen wrenches in the sizes of 1.5 and 2mm can be useful. Lastly, you'll also need a tuner. To protect the body from damage, you can place your polishing cloth under the tremolo. With a 2.5mm Allen wrench, loosen and remove the clamps on the nut. To show you the process from the ground up, we'll be removing all the strings. However, it is important to change the strings one at a time. Doing so minimizes the changes in stress on the instrument, and it helps to keep the tremolo floating properly. It also saves you from a lot of extra adjustment during setup. With the locking nuts removed and the string loosened, unlock the trim lock and remove the string from the machine head. With a 2.5mm Allen wrench, loosen the clamp on the string saddle and remove the string. Before inserting a new string, you have to cut the ball end off with wire cutters. Without over-tightening, retighten the clamp before threading the string through the machine head. Pull all the slack from the string before tightening the trim lock into place. Tune to the desired pitch and cut away the excess. Do this for each string, one after the other. After you're done, you can put the clamps back into place, making sure that they're lined up properly, but don't tighten them yet. There's still plenty of adjusting left to be done. Make sure the strings are tuned properly. Because of the equilibrium needed between string and spring tension, you'll have to retune a few times before the strings stay in tune. Also, make sure the fine tuners are set in the middle, leaving enough room to tune in either direction. Your initial tuning stability can be improved by pressing down on the strings just in front of and behind the nut, as well as just in front of the saddles. After removing the cloth from under the tremolo, bend the strings in both directions with the whammy bar to make sure that the bridge is pivoting freely. Now check if it's floating properly. It should float in a line parallel with the body. If not, make sure the whammy bar is no longer attached and use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the spring compartment cover on the back of your guitar. If the tremolo is angled back towards the body, use a Phillips head screwdriver that fits the screws and loosen the springs in small increments. If it's angled towards the headstock, tighten the springs to the right. After each adjustment, retune before checking the tremolo's new position. After you're finished, you can put the spring compartment cover back into place. To check if your neck is straight, press down on the first and last frets and check the gap at the 9th fret. The space there should be between 0.1 and 0.3 millimeters, about the thickness of a business card. Whether you prefer low or high action doesn't affect this spacing. To adjust this, remove the truss rod cover with a Phillips head screwdriver and insert the truss rod wrench into place. Turning the truss rod to the left lets the headstock bend forward, increasing the gap at the 9th fret. Turning to the right bends it back, making this gap smaller. Always adjust the neck gradually, retuning before checking if more adjustment is needed. It takes time for the neck to adjust completely, so after about an hour, check the neck again to see if more adjustment is needed and check once more the following day. After the neck is set, the string action can be adjusted. While everyone has their own preference, we set guitars using an optimal string height of 1.7 mm for the top string and 1.5 mm for the bottom. A simple and accurate way to check this is to place a 1.5 mm Allen wrench between the string and the 12th fret, leaving a gap with the top string and making it flush with the bottom. To raise the action, turn the screw on the corresponding side of the bridge to the left in gradual increments with a 3 mm Allen wrench. To lower the action, turn to the right. Retune before trying out the new action. Pickup height also varies according to taste. As a pickup gets closer to the strings, the output is increased while sustain is decreased. As a balance between the two, we set guitars using a distance of 2 mm. By placing a 2 mm Allen wrench on top of the pickup and pressing down at the last fret, you can check if the pickup should be higher or lower. Do this on both sides and on each pickup. Properly adjusting a guitar's intonation ensures the notes are in tune all the way up the fingerboard. With a fully tuned guitar, check its tuning at the 12th fret. If the note is sharp, the saddle needs moved closer to the bridge. If the note is flat, then it needs moved closer to the nut. To do this, first loosen the string needing adjustment until the tension is gone. Next, using a 2.5 mm Allen wrench, loosen the screw just in front of the saddle. Slightly nudge the saddle in the desired direction and without over-tightening, retighten the saddle. Tune the string and recheck it at the 12th fret, doing so for each string. After it's intonated, tune your guitar by about a cent flat because retightening the locking nuts raises the pitch. Any additional tuning can then be done using the fine tuners at the end of the tremolo. Although the initial setup of a Floyd Rose can be time-consuming, proper care and using a consistent gauge of strings greatly reduces the amount of work needed to keep your guitar playing beautifully.